Hello everybody. Today we're going to be looking at, in my opinion, one of the most underrated PC games of all time. It's called Harvester. This came out back in the mid-90s. It's a very dark, brooding, little creepy, scary game. What, you didn't believe me? As a kid, I remember seeing the news report about this game, but never really got to play it until about 11 years ago, actually. Yeah, gameplay tips. Alright. As you can see, this is a point-and-click adventure game. Mattresses with odd stains. A photo of a beautiful girl, blonde, about 17 years old. A 1/48 scale P-47 Thunderbolt with a broken propeller. You just click on things and examine them. An empty acne medicine container. And click on yourself and bring up your item menu. And this is actually your health indicator. Dresser drawers unlocked. There's a pen. A quarter. And things you can pick up. Sunglasses. As of yet, the future isn't so bright. 7 flannel shirts accompanied with matching blue jeans are hanging neatly in the closet. So basically I have the same outfit for each day. Alright, let's go out here. An old TV.
What? Leave me alone, Steve, or I'll tell Mom on you.
Steve, are you talking to me?
Yeah, only I don't want to be, because I'm trying to watch my cowboy show.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm telling you, I need your help. I've lost my memory.
Have not. Cut it out.
I'm telling you the truth.
You always were a kidder, Steve. Leave me alone. I'm sick.
What's wrong with you?
I got a headache and a stomachache.
Then why aren't you in bed?
'Cause I want to watch my cowboy show.
You look all right to me.
I'm not faking. I couldn't go to school because I'm sick. Daddy's sick in bed too. And Mom believes me anyway. So shut up.
Your dad is asleep?
He and Mom went at it last night pretty hard. He stayed in bed. I saw what she did to him. It was pretty bad.
What did she...
Like you don't know. I saw you and her on the couch last Wednesday night. Guess that's why she's grounded now, huh? Too bad you wouldn't pay me and I had to tell, huh?
What are you talking about? What girl?
What? Is there another one too? Wait till I tell.
I don't know what girl you're talking about.
All summer, it's been Stephanie this and Stephanie that. And now you don't remember? You think I'm dumb or something?
No, I just can't remember anything, like I said.
Well, you better remember quick, 'cause the wedding's in 2 weeks.
What?
Leave me alone so I can watch TV.
That's a weird-looking television. Come to think of it, this whole place looks totally retro.
What do you mean retro? All TVs look alike.
Sure, basically. But this is one old-fashioned clunker.
Old-fashioned? It's brand new.
Yeah, but look at the tube. Where's the remote control?
What's that?
Now that I think about it, I can't remember.
And what was that you said about retro rockets?
No, retro. It means... Oh man, I know what I mean. That everything here is wrong. But I can't picture the difference.
Then shut up and quit bugging me. I'm watching my cowboy show. Good. Finally.
Hello, Brat. A stunning depiction of the Earth made of paper mache. A pendulum-driven cuckoo clock with a cuckoo oddly absent. That's not weird. Let's see the kitchen.
Well, hello there. How about some cookies? There's plenty of rejects in the trash.
Who are you?
That's a fine way to talk to your mother.
You're my mother?
That's right. Though sometimes I get treated like the hired help around here.
I don't remember you.
Of course you don't. Until you need your socks washed.
No, you don't understand. I can't remember where I am or even who I am.
Land's sake, stop your joshing, won't you? Honestly, Steve, I thought you'd grow up a little after graduation. I only hope that new job will plant your feet on the ground.
So that's my name. Steve.
Your name will be M.U.D. Mud if you don't stop teasing me, young man.
Listen, this may sound strange, but I've lost my memory. Do you believe me?
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
I'm serious.
Get used to hearing that
Sure,
phrase.
and next you'll be telling me you don't remember Hank and your little sister.
Sister?
Shh, you'll wake her. I just put her down to sleep. If she wakes up, she'll just want to eat again. Darn it, I'm busy, and if you think I'm going to play along with this nonsense, you're crazier than Sparky down at the firehouse.
Fine. Maybe I am crazy. I can't rule that out. Why can't you just help me a little? Is that too much to ask?
Now you've done it. Are you happy? Poor baby. There, there. Did your brother scare you? Let me see. Darn that wasp woman. She's a monster, that's what she is.
Poorly drawn bugs.
Wasp woman?
Tetsua Crumb is going to hear about this. I want you to go to her house right now and give her a piece of my mind.
I don't know where she lives.
Honestly, you can't miss a house covered with paper nests. Steve, you tell her to mind her own beeswax or by golly, I'll take it up with the PTA. Or the lodge.
What's the PTA got to do with anything?
Show some respect, Steve. The PTA has a lot of clout in Harvest. We run the charity bake sale, the annual blood drive, and by gosh, we even have ties to the lodge.
What charity is this bake sale supposed to benefit?
It'll help provide a fund for bums and hobos who wander into Harvest and have no family ties.
Kind of a specific target group, isn't it?
You have to pay attention to detail when dealing with such people.
I don't know what you mean.
You will. The whole thing has been organized by the lodge.
Tell me more about this bake sale. Why is it so important?
As I told you, many unfortunates who come to Harvest end up needing financial help.
Why is that the town's problem?
It's not a problem, so long as those folks are taken care of. It's the will of the lodge.
What lodge?
The Hall of the Order of the Harvest Moon, Steve. It's just the finest place in Harvest, and the most exclusive.
What's so great about it?
Hard to say, since hardly anyone gets inside, but it wouldn't be so exclusive if it wasn't just wonderful. Just like the new Reynolds dishwasher with their patented auto-dry process, TM. I've never used one, but I know I want it.
She verbalized
Instead of
TM.
sulking around the house all day, why not walk over to the lodge and apply for membership? Don't be so hasty, Steve. I think you'll find Harvest is a pretty dull place without the lodge.
You sound like the membership director.
Don't be silly. I just want what's best for you, that's all. Harvest is a town unlike any you've ever known.
In what way?
I don't have time to go into it now. Why not take a walk around town and pester someone else? I'm busy.
All right, we'll do that.
Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy. You know how he gets.
Cookies in the oven, cookies in the trash can, cookies out on the pan on the counter. A box full of newspapers. Take one. I'm supposed to give it to
Hey,
him.
Steve, I'm Jimmy James. Remember me?
I guess not.
Hey, how come you haven't been putting the paper out for me in the morning?
I got better things to do, or I'm supposed to. I don't know.
Yeah? Well, try to remember, will ya? How'd you expect a working Joe to make an honest living? You don't put the paper out, I'm out of a job.
So what? You don't get paid for picking up papers anyway.
The Sentinel building burnt down. What the heck else am I supposed to do? Listen, start putting that paper out and everything will be jake, okay? That's all I want. That and a pair of sneakers. Walking this route every day has worn holes in mine. Say, you got any spare sneakers? Oh, gee whiz. Look, if you find any, I'd be willing to trade you for them. Something really neato. Think about it. See you later, alligator. Hey, Steve. You've been doing a swell job putting the paper out in the morning. You just keep doing that and we won't have any problems. That's not much to ask, is it?
It's full of junk mail, bills, and bake sale flyers. So you found Phillips head screws. High voltage power lines bathe your home in a wholesome old-fashioned electromagnetic field. You feel them humming in your dreams. Steel bars wrench signals from the naked air. Army surplus air conditioner. Overhead window shading going. They're living dangerously. The garage needs a new paint job. The glass is so clear the reflection makes it difficult to see. Examine the gutter. Must have rained recently.
There he is, my future son-in-law. And how's he doing today? What brings him to the Potsdam household, huh? Huh?
I have lost my memory.
What a card.
Would I kid about something like that? Why won't you believe me?
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Your mother just telephoned us about your latest shenanigans. Isn't that right, Mrs. Potsdam?
Sure did, Mr. Potsdam. You little rascal.
Imagination's a swell thing to have, in small amounts. Man needs to keep his feet on the ground, especially if he's getting married. Tell me, is your father feeling better? Is he going back to the slaughterhouse anytime soon?
I haven't seen my father. He's locked in a room. I hear him moaning, but that's all.
He's not going to die, is he?
Like I said, I don't know. That woman, Mom, tends to him herself.
Well, next time you see him, be sure to tell him that I said hello. And tell him that I'm praying for his speedy recovery. And also, would you remind him about the meat? Especially about the meat.
Yeah, fine. If I see him.
You should be more concerned. If he dies, then who's going to take over the slaughterhouse? Who's going to tend to the meat? I guess as his son, you'd take over. Right? I can't imagine a better job than working in a slaughterhouse. Bite your tongue with that serpent's tooth. Your dad's slaughterhouse is the most successful business in Harvest. You'll love it there. Oh, sure. Cutting animals open may not be much fun. Reaching into their bodies and yanking out the bloody guts, intestines dangling and slapping against you, the smell of death and shit in your nostrils all the time. Well, those are all definite cons, of which you're done. The guts have been washed into the gutters. What are you left with? Meat. Rows and rows of scrumptious red meat. Meat is the foundation of any decent society. Everyone needs at least 3 servings of red meat a day. And anyone who says otherwise is a commie. And once you're married to Stephanie, I'll be part of the family too. And your father will give me all the meat I want. Kind of makes up for not getting into the lodge.
Why are you so anxious to get into the lodge?
There's wonders inside. I've heard there's more meat in there than they know what to do with. Now that you're of age, Steve, you might go down to the post office and fill out a lodge application. They're always looking for new blood.
Jane eating asparagus.
Hello, Steve. Have you flossed today? Well, Stephanie is grounded, Steve.
Why?
I'm sure I don't know. Mr. Potsdam has sent her to her room, and in her room she'll stay until Mr. Potsdam says otherwise. Probably until the wedding. Mr. Potsdam feels there's too much at stake to allow Stephanie to run around loose.
She doesn't want to get married either, huh?
Are you saying you don't want to marry my daughter?
I don't know your daughter, Mrs. Potsdam. Why is she grounded? Afraid she'll run away before the wedding?
No! She's as delighted as we are about the wedding, every bit as delighted as we are. But she might get hit by a car, or a falling piano, or who knows what. Mr. Potsdam wants us all to be one happy family, and he doesn't want to risk anything happening at the last minute. I don't see any reason why not. You mustn't be too hard on Mr. Potsdam, Steve. He's a disappointed man. No matter how many lodge admission forms he fills out, they keep turning him down. He has a new application in, though.
So keep your fingers crossed. If he joins the lodge, you and Stephanie can have your wedding in the Chapel of Love rather than over at Moynihan's place. Mr. Moynihan runs the Wayward Hotel and the Shady Oaks Funeral Parlor. It's rumored he has connections with the lodge, but the order keeps that kind of thing secret. So Mr. Poston has tried to get him to put in a good word for his lodge application, but so far...
What can you tell me about the lodge?
Just that they're exclusive and secretive. If you're curious, you ought to pick up a lodge application at the post office and take it over to the sergeant-at-arms. Isn't that a thought? Forget Mr. Potsdam. If you became a member of the order, we could hold the wedding inside the lodge. My, wouldn't that be lovely?
Tell me about this wedding.
Well, it's set for 3 weeks. We're holding it over at Shady Oaks, Mr. Moynihan's funeral parlor.
Say what?
Now, I know it's not a very romantic place, but there's nowhere else to hold it, thanks to Mr. Potsdam. Give my regards to your parents.
Window affords a spectacular view of aluminum siding. Picture on the wall is hanging a bit crooked. And you can see why. New Zippy vitamins will pick you right. It's a health item. A jar of extra Oralube. 1 hour cough medicine. Aspirin. Tampons. Dental floss. Use disinfectant not to be used for baking cookies. Thin hair. The rubber ducky has seen better days. It's, you know, one of those things. The closet door won't budge. Your makeup looks just fine. Alright, let's go in here and talk to Stephanie.
Who are you? What are you doing in my room?
Haven't you heard? We're getting married.
So, you're the one. Steve, isn't it?
You mean you don't know me?
I mean, I don't know anyone. I don't remember anything. How many times do I have to say it?
Just one, Stephanie, because I can't remember a damn thing either.
Really? Oh God, I thought it was just me.
You're not alone. Can you tell me what's going on here?
Those people downstairs have locked me in my room. They say I'm grounded until the wedding. They claim to be my parents. I can't dispute it because I can't remember for sure one way or the other, but it doesn't feel right. I believe you. Maybe some of these people believe you too. Maybe they're playing dumb.
Why?
Maybe they're responsible. Either way, something really weird is going on here. I've got to escape, and so do you. Because in a way, whether you know it or not, I think we're both grounded. It's been hell. They treat me well, but they won't let me leave this room. Not even to go out in the yard. Not until the wedding.
They won't tell you why?
Each one blames the other for grounding me. They make up different excuses. Different things I did, none of which I remember. So I sit up here, watch the world outside my window, and listen to the noises in the house. Every morning, a weird boy comes to the house and picks up the paper. He doesn't deliver the paper. He picks up scrap paper that Miss Potsdam sets out on the porch for him. Some mornings she forgets, and the boy gets furious. He gives me the creeps.
Anything else you can tell me?
I hear these weird scraping sounds in the bathroom sometimes. Like something is sliding along the wall. Claws, maybe. And Mr. Potsdam. I don't like the way my dear daddy looks at me. Both of them are always watching me. Especially him.
You don't think they're dangerous, do you?
I think this whole place is dangerous. I think we've got to escape. Before it's too late.
Escape?
Harvest is a prison, Steve. Don't forget that. You haven't been locked in your room for a week. Everything in Harvest seems to revolve around this damned lodge, this Order of the Harvest Moon. They're responsible for this insane bake sale that's coming, and for the Harvest Blood Drive, too. When people talk about the lodge, it's always in this hushed, reverent tone. Mom keeps telling me that women can't join, but she keeps pressuring me to get you to join.
She's not the only one who wants me to sign on with the lodge.
That's probably the worst thing you could do.
You think the lodge is some kind of trap?
I think all of Harvest is a trap.
If that's true, maybe joining the lodge is the way out.
Look, why not explore the town a little? I can't get out of here, but if I could, that's what I'd do. Maybe you can figure out what's happening here without going anywhere near the lodge.
You're really afraid of the lodge, aren't you?
I look at that building, all lit up at night, and I get scared.
I mean, look at the damn thing. Seem like a harmless bunch of Masons to you?
Maybe my amnesia isn't total after all. You're familiar to me. Like we've met before. In another life.
Maybe we really do live here. Maybe we were together, and the same thing happened to both of us. An accident. Something.
Neither of us has bumps on our heads, if that's what you're getting at.
Have you been able to remember anything else? Anything at all?
Well, I have had these recurring dreams. Just fragments, really. Strange, abstract images. Liquid, chrome.
Probably just a dream.
Well, have you thought about how to escape Harvest? The wedding is only 3 weeks away. Not much time to get to know each other, is it? No?
If it comes down to it, we just won't take the vows.
I don't think anything in Harvest is that simple. Too many people are determined that we get hitched.
Why?
Potsdam wants the meat your father promised him. Your parents want to force you to settle down. Mrs. Potsdam wants to have the wedding in the lodge. Me? I just want to escape. Come back and visit me soon, okay?
Alright. Met someone else with amnesia as well. So, let's figure out what's going on and take a walk around town. Abandoned house. Except for the wasps. And her.
It's not often that I get visitors.
Are you the wasp woman?
I am Tetsuo Crumb. The ignorant of Harvest called me the Wasp Woman. A pejorative, no doubt, born of fear and a poverty of imagination.
I don't understand.
The politics of honey, the Judeo-Christian rites of sacrifice and conventional taboos against unbridled pleasure are all responsible for the prejudice against wasps. The politics of honey are intertwined with the age-old struggle of the aesthetic versus the commercial. Because I choose to raise wasps instead of bees, I'm frowned upon by the community. Why? Well, raising bees is acceptable because they produce honey. But sometimes it's not what is produced, so much as what is performed.
I don't see any particular use for wasps.
Why must everything have a use? Is money always the determining factor? More slender, more aerodynamic than the bee, the wasp is a joy to behold. Beautiful and juicy. Isn't that enough to compensate for the little drawbacks? Well, as you can see, the little darlings do love to sting. Another source of prejudice for the masses, and another reason to love them. Bees are like animals. They sting only for a reason, for sacrifice. They have no conception of individual sensation, of pleasure. When a bee stings, it rips itself apart and dies for its audacity. This appeals to those raised worshipping a god that demands sacrifice and atonement. But the wasp is promiscuous. They are not as sympathetic to the masses because they don't die when they sting. They live to sting another day, and they take pleasure from it. Yes, a great deal of pleasure. The wasp is a sensual being, not a laborer, hedonistic instead of industrial. Some think them quick to anger. In truth, they are easily swayed to ecstasy. They penetrate your flesh, and the muscular contractions in their thorax as they pump venom could be likened to the muscular contractions of ejaculation. Each painful welt, an act of love. Regard the wasp. Wasps produce nothing for others, but only for themselves. Wasps build nests and more wasps, nothing more. They spread into eaves and attics, not to make honey for supermarkets, but to buzz and rustle on their own paper, perpetuating their own agenda, growing stealthily, surely, the most relentless of insects. Innocent children, what better way to describe the wasp? Carefree, wild, beautiful things. If they wish to share their love with babies, or any of the rest of you ignorant hicks, that is not my concern.
She is someone you can... Oh boy. She dead. Now this house truly is abandoned. Yeah, there's combat in this game, and there's certain people you can kill without any consequences. And there are certain people that if you do, you'll get busted for it.
Hello, Steve. How's the husband-to-be?
Other than having no memory, I guess I'm all right.
All right? You should be ecstatic, considering what you're getting into, if you haven't gotten into it already. Speaking of which, I heard Stephanie was grounded. Her daddy's worried about getting his meat. So if I were him, I'd be more concerned about Stephanie getting some meat.
Right. And you are?
You always were a kidder, Steve. I'm Mr. Johnson, remember? Glad you stopped by. Just got finished waxing the tucker. I could use a little relaxation. But since Edna's not here, I might as well talk to you. Edna Fitzpatrick is one of the snootiest women in town. I declare there isn't a woman in Harvest that'd turn me away. If I was interested, that is. Just because she owns DNAs, she's got all these highfalutin ideas about independence. And her with a little girl to raise. That child needs a father. And Edna, well, she needs a good, hard penis. I'll admit DNA's done and does good business. But money isn't everything to a woman. Can money keep you warm at night? Can you wrap your thighs around it? Or rake bloody gashes in its back with your painted, hollowed fingernails? Edna! Edna! So, how's Stephanie? Speaking of Stephanie, I still haven't gotten an invitation to the wedding yet.
I don't have anything to do with that.
That's okay. Personally, I'd prefer a pass to the honeymoon. You could use the back seat of my Tucker for the maiden voyage. It's plenty big, believe you me. I'd drive you around, and I wouldn't look in the back seat, I guarantee it. Though if you'd like to come up front and take the wheel a while, I wouldn't say nay. Heck of an automobile, isn't she? Damn shame I have to sit out here and watch over her all the time. But if I didn't, those stupid kids might scratch her up playing ball. Hell yes, it's real. I wouldn't be so protective of her if she was just a reproduction. I'm mighty particular about my Tucker. I had the garage remodeled like a fortress, so I could lock her up at night and get some sleep.
I'm sure she's safe enough inside.
A few months back, someone broke into my house, trying to get into the garage. I had to gripe like hell before the sheriff agreed to start the evening patrols and instigate the curfew. Bye now.
Tucker. Mr. Johnson's garage. Panel cover. Shady Oaks Mortuary. Professionally kept landscape. These votive candles have been lit by many well-wishers for the dead, or one well-wisher with a lot of matches. Exquisite chandelier. The light from the candelabra gleams wholesomely pink, like the eyes of a horde of rats bouncing within wires. Sandy pupils caked with the dust of indifference. Coffin. The imprint of a head, buttocks, and sliding heels are scraped into the thick dust of the pew. Hauntingly beautiful stained glass window in which a man holds a sigh in one hand and some ethereal power in the other. Symbolic. most dear to us who have passed recently, Jonathan A. Ratcliffe. There's a dead body.
Stephen,
Who are you?
I am Daniel Moynihan, mortician and proprietor of the Wayward Hotel.
Most people ask me why I don't remember their names.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Besides, as one who deals with the dead, I try not to involve myself in the affairs of the living. Your loss of memory is of no concern to me, true or false. Ironic, considering my recent involvement in a charity event.
What are you talking about?
My complaints were central to the scheduling of the upcoming Harvest Bake Sale. I'm gratified the Order of the Harvest Moon got involved. The proceeds will certainly help cover my losses.
Fun fact, the guy playing this character is the director of this game.
This bake sale is a joint effort of the Harvest PTA and the Order of the Harvest Moon. The proceeds will be used to set up a fund for transients. In other words, bums and societal rejects without families who wander into Harvest uninvited.
Then the Order is setting up shelters for the homeless?
Not shelters. Graves.
Hoo boy.
You see a great number of these hobos die while passing through. Don't ask me why, it's what those people do. Use your common sense, Stephen, memory or no. If they were involved in setting up homeless shelters, then why would I be involved? And why would I be sustaining losses? As always, the Order of the Harvest Moon has taken the lead in addressing our societal ills. Through their sponsorship of the blood drive and the bake sale, the Lodge ensures that all our needs are met.
Needs? Such as?
Pardon me, there are corpses to prepare. And my losses have been substantial of late. If you're sincerely interested in the Order, however, you should stop by the Lodge and speak with the Sergeant-at-Arms.
Why should I be interested, Mr. Moynihan?
Of all the spots in Harvest, the Lodge is the most prominent, literally and figuratively. It is the ambition of everyone here to join. And join you must to attain wisdom.
What kind of wisdom?
If I knew, I'd be a member. I have the feeling you have what it takes to join the Order, Stephen. We all believe that. Whether or not you live up to your potential is up to you. It seems that, like some elephant's graveyard, people of low station come to Harvest to die. They simply drop dead, penniless, and they all need burials. God knows, by putting these people up at the Wayward Hotel, I do more than my fair share. So why must I pay for the coffins and burial materials as well? My losses to the dead are substantial. Hopefully the bake sale will offset some of them. Yes, I prepare them. I use this astro glue to close my autopsy incision rather than sutures. It's much faster, more efficient. Of course, it only holds for a short while, but once they're in the ground, who cares if they split open? They will anyway. The pressure of the gases and the worms pressing outward, rupturing the cavity open. So why bother with fancy needlework?
A cold-blooded approach.
But what of my losses? Do you realize if it weren't for the efforts of the Order of the Harvest Moon, the bake sale and so forth, even with the Wayward Hotel, I'd be hard-pressed to stay in business. As owner of the only hotel in town, I do my best to accommodate any hobo who straggles into town, vacancies permitting. Thank you. As yet another pilgrim who aspires to join the Order of the Harvest Moon, I do what I can to support their agenda.
And what agenda is that?
None of your concern, young man. Unless you decide to join them. I'd say it's been a pleasure, but I find the company of the living so wearisome.
Let's take a look around here. It's the unnamed hope. Rama Williams. There's lightning effects in the background. Another unknown visitor. It's Jonathan Michael. Some fresh Potsdam family fruit. Wonder what tales that would tell. And there's the lodge. Let's go to it. Red eyes. Looks as ancient as the mountains.
Only initiates may enter the Hall of the Order of the Harvest Moon.
Did you say something?
I did not speak, but my mind touched yours.
Telepathy? But how?
Only those who seek enlightenment warrant my attention. Do you hunger for true knowledge? Forbidden knowledge, the forgotten pleasures, and pleasures as yet undiscovered. But such is not for the likes of you. Not yet. You must first fill out an application to be considered for initiation into the mysteries. Members of the Order are privy to many hidden truths.
Such as?
They know what the trees whisper to the wind to make it howl. They know what the worm knows as it squirms in a rotting leg. They know what you've forgotten. When you find the path, truth will be revealed to you. When you possess the truth, you will know what you knew. And if anything remains forgotten, then it was never worth the knowing. Have you obtained an application from the postmaster?
Not yet.
If you would find knowledge, you must seek it from the first realization of the wanting. Whether you do or not matters little to me. Many are called, but few chosen. Have you obtained?
Not yet.
If you would.
What happens if I select this?
Harvest seems strange to you. Nothing is quite as it seems, or should be. Such is the way of all things when viewed from the proper perspective. Only within this lodge can the truth be found.
Blind woman is trying to read her mail.
Yes?
I need some help, Mr.
Postmaster Boyle, what can I do for you today? Sorry, youngster, we're out of applications right now.
Come on, you must have one around here somewhere.
Well, I do have the master, but you can't write on that, and I only make copies once a month, on the button, regular as clockwork. It's not the effort, son. It's the principle. We must adhere to our standards. They're all that stand between civilization and chaos. I'm sorry, you'll just have to come back in a month, same as anyone else. And even then, I can't guarantee you'll get an application. The line is always long, and there are never enough to go around.
It's very important that I get in quickly.
That's what they all say. Postmaster Boyle, I'll just die if I don't get into the lodge. I can't make an exception, young man. It just wouldn't be right. Next time you post, don't forget the zip code.
Let's walk over here. To the barber shop. It's hard to tell if the sheep is alive.
Howdy, Steve.
Yeah. Howdy back, Mr.
Pete Swell, Steve. Don't you pull my old leg now. Change your mind about that aluminum siding?
What are you talking about?
I really think you should talk your father into buying some. He can afford it. And I can't stress enough the value of some really fine aluminum siding. Keeps it warm in the summer, cool in the winter, and it keeps out the sheep. Pastorelli ought to look into some, but I can't get him to understand a word I say. Steve, aluminum siding can't get a fair shake no more. Started when those firemen came to harvest, filling people's heads with newfangled notions like color coordination and interior design. You can paint aluminum, you know, if you want to. But even so, I can't seem to move it anymore. Not even to a rube like Pastorelli. Thank God for the plumbing. Pastorelli's a rube from way back. Ask Clem Parsons how he followed up with the alarm system in here. I'm a plumber. I could fix it for him, but he just won't listen. Well, I seen the end coming for the aluminum siding game, so I took a mail course and learned how to be a plumber. Now, there's a business that never lets
Mario
up.
reference.
You'd be surprised what people flush down the toilet. Nice to see you again, Steve.
Hello there, youngster. You see, them aliens I was telling you about? Well, they came back last night. Cut another crop circle in my south field.
How come I never seen none of them saucers, Clem?
Them aliens is wily, Pete. You don't cross the intergalactic void without learning a trick or two. You know what Pastorelli did? Yesterday, he gets an alarm system to protect his pole. Only he don't know how to rig it, so now it's all awry. Why, that barber's pole of his is his pride and joy. Brought it all the way over from Italy, wrapped all special-like. It ain't nothing but colored glass with some bulbs stuck up in it, but he thinks it's the be-all, end-all. Installed that alarm system just to protect it. Though who in tarnation would want to steal a worthless piece of junk like that? I don't know.
Maybe them aliens, Clem.
Oh, Pete, don't be ignorant. Them aliens don't give a fig for no colored glass. You think if they can build spaceships, they can't make a dadgum barber pole? Crazy hick don't know nothing about science. Pastorelli shelled out for an alarm system, all right, but he's too cheap to hire an electrician to hook her up. Dang idiot cross-wired it to the fire sprinkler, so now when the alarm goes off, it sets the sprinkler spraying. Tarnation! Aliens looking for intelligent life ought to stay away from this shop, sure enough. Well, son, the ways of the alien is a specialized area of woodcraft unknown to all but the wiliest sportsmen. What you gotta remember is, your average alien is smarter than your average human. So you gotta be extra careful building your blind if you want to bag one.
You hunt aliens.
Son, after nailing an alien, you can never go back to quail. What, you think you can get one of those at a swap meet? Line your blind with lead to fool their sensing machines. Lay real quiet and wait. Preferably in the woods around the nuclear base. Oh, they love messing around out there.
Why not wait outside your field, Clem? Wait for 'em to come a-carving.
Oh, they do their crop doodles with zap guns, you darn fool. Don't you know nothing? Besides, ain't no place to put the blind out in the field. Now, you listen to Clem Parsons if you want to tag an unearthly being. They cross the void, wondering what lies beyond, all the time not knowing that what awaits them is buckshot. Anytime, Steve.
Let's go to the general store. Tape and broken glass. Obviously, obviously a professional break-in. He's busy too working to notice you. Fine by me.
Can I help you, dear?
Who are you?
This is Phelps General Store, so who would that make me? Maybe you need to go back to Gein Memorial and have Miss Whaley teach you about logic.
I'm fuzzy on a lot of things these days. My memory's gone.
Pshaw, you always were a kidder, Steve.
I'm serious, I need some help.
Well, they say a sharp blow to the head is a good thing for amnesia. In which case, I'd recommend Miss Whaley again. Then again, they say a good scare can jog the memory. In which case, I'd advise you to visit the Sergeant at Arms over at the lodge. That man gives me the willies. Speaking of willies, how's your father?
Don't know. My so-called mother keeps him locked in his room, and I can't get in.
Care to buy anything today? Just point to whatever you want. I'm a little hard of hearing.
Had no trouble hearing me before. Inch, tape, and an adult magazine. 25 cents. Canned food, board games it looks like? Let's try to get rid of these.
That's nice, dear.
Alright, let's get serious. Let's give her the quarter.
A girly magazine? Why, Steve, I'm surprised at you. I'd expect that sort of thing from Deputy Loomis, but never from you. He's always coming in here oogling the girly magazines behind my counter. Darned if I'd sell him one, though. I know his wife, for heaven's sakes.
Well, will you sell me one?
I certainly will, Steve. That kind of interest is healthy for a young fellow. Steers him away from being a fireman.
Take a look at the missile base. Base is well stocked with missiles.
Oh! Who goes there?
They tell me my name is Steve.
All right. This is Section 21. Keep your distance, son. I wouldn't want to have to blow your head off.
That makes two of us.
So you're the amnesiac, huh? Just another draft-dodging ploy the way I see it. But at least you're not an alien. You see their ships every now and then. Sometimes Swell bags one in the woods.
Who are you?
Colonel Buster Monroe, commander of the Harvest Nuclear Missile Installation, keeping America safe from those who would dye our flag red, white, and pink.
These are nuclear missiles?
Goddamn right they are. Every one of them ready to rain death on the Ruskies. All I gotta do is hit the button and blammo! The price of vodka goes through the roof. Along with the vodka.
Well, I suppose you have, you know, safeguards against accidents?
Safeguards? Don't be such a weak sister. There are no safeguards. This is the 50s.
Then you have sole control of the, missiles.
That's right. Been in charge here since WW2, when I got my lower torso shot off in the war. Those pantywaists in Washington wanted to stick me behind a desk. To hell with that. They owed me. I left my legs in Dusseldorf. They owed me. Of course, they felt that after the trauma of having to crawl from Germany to England trailing my intestines behind me, I was too emotionally unstable to continue in the military. That's why they gave me this nice cushy job and put me in charge of the nuclear missiles. Remember, duck and cover.
Meat plate. Kitties.
Steve, how's your father? Is he better?
About the same, I guess.
He's been away from work for weeks, and when I call your house, your mother won't let me talk to him.
I haven't seen him either.
This is a fine kettle of fish, I must say. Though I am glad to see you taking an interest in the business in your dad's absence.
Who are you?
Aw, Steve, I didn't want to believe that amnesia hokum. Now you're saying you don't remember your pal Pat O'Reilly? You may come to realize that this business is not for everybody. Just ask your poor, ill dad. It takes dedication and a strong stomach. A lot of times, when I'm finished scrubbing up and digging the bits of intestine out from my fingernails, I must confess I don't have much appetite for red meat. But red meat is one of the principal food groups, and you've got to have it. So when you can do this all day and help yourself to a juicy red steak afterwards, then by golly, you can call yourself a butcher. Of course, amnesia would certainly help that, wouldn't it?
Come to think of it, I don't see any cattle around here. Where do you keep the animals?
Does it matter? The end product is all the customer cares about, Steve. And we only carry the finest meat. Only the juiciest cuts. Once you take over the business, you'll realize the importance of maintaining quality while cutting costs. We know what we're doing here, Steve. If we didn't, would the lodge use us to cater their affairs? Your father's very particular about the profit, Steve. No freebies for anyone. But seeing how you're his son, if you'll bring written permission from your father, I'll give you the meat. Don't be such a stranger, Steve, and my best to your dad.
Yeah, you came here just to get this. Let's go to the diner.
Oh, Steve, what are you doing sneaking up on me like that? God, for a second I thought you were Mr. Johnson. What would you like to order? Sure. And my name's Edna Fitzpatrick. I'm not the one with amnesia.
Then you believe me.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve.
I guess I've changed. I'm not kidding.
Now, Steve, faking amnesia won't help anything. If you don't want to marry Stephanie, then don't. But don't play sick, for heaven's sake. I'd expect that from Karen, not an 18-year-old. You've met Karen, my 8-year-old. Other than the diner, she's all I have. There isn't a nicer girl in Harvest than Stephanie, Steve. You should be grateful that she's promised you her hand.
I don't remember that happening, Edna.
Honestly, you men are so childish. I don't know what it is about marriage that turns even the bravest man into a coward. I was going to marry Karen's father when he just up and ran out on me one night. I heard that he joined a lodge, but if he did, I never saw him come out again. Even Sheriff Dwayne wasn't able to find out what happened to him. Mr. Johnson has a liking for me. I call it a crush, but that's too innocent a word. He's a bitter man with too much time on his hands. He's never gotten over being rejected by the lodge, and there's something unwholesome in the way he looks at me. I'm always glad when the sheriff comes in every day at noon. Sheriff Dwayne is such a dear man. And I don't just say that because he's my most regular customer. Every single day, rain or shine, he comes in here at noon for lunch. Sits in the same spot, too. That's at least an hour every day when I can be sure Mr. Johnson won't show up. You know, it's funny. Dwayne never comes in here with Deputy Loomis, but he frequently dines with Mr. McKnight. You know, the owner of the TV station. Sometimes he comes in with Postmaster Boyle, but somehow I don't think they're friends. Though I see them together a lot, Boyle and the sheriff never act very friendly towards each other. Almost like there's some kind of bond between them besides friendship, though what it might be I can't imagine. Maybe Sheriff Dwayne resents the fact that he's never been able to get into the lodge. So that's not Boyle's fault. He just hands out the applications. He doesn't decide who gets admitted.
Can't even type in words to say here.
Mr. McKnight owns the TV station WHAR. He seems to get along with Sheriff Dwayne better than Boyle does. Better than just about anyone, to tell the truth. I don't see the connection between them, but I'll bet you dollars to donuts that it's there anyhow. Stop by anytime, Steve.
Hi, what's your name?
Karen,
What are you doing?
playing. My mom is working, so I gotta stay out of her hair. Wanna play?
Not now, maybe later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that cake cover. I'm gonna need that screw. Sheriff Station.
Hello, Steve. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sheriff Dwayne, and this here's Loomis.
Pleasure, I reckon.
Then, we haven't met before?
Of course we have, but I heard about your alleged amnesia and figured I'd play along. I sure hope this is just a prank, and not the start of some insanity plea. Keep your nose clean, or you'll wind up in jail, and that's no place to hold a wedding. Why do you want to break your poor mama's heart with all this amnesia bunk?
I'm telling you the truth. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, You've always been a kidder, Steve.
Yeah, so everybody keeps telling me.
Boy, you need to stop all this funning and get serious. You've got a wedding coming up soon. Heck, you should be thinking about your career and about joining the lodge. Amnesia or no, you can't have forgotten you're about to marry the prettiest little thing in Harvest. I think you and Stephanie are perfect for each other. I just hope her father's disappointment doesn't spoil everything.
Disappointment?
Mr. Potsdam wants to hold the wedding in the lodge, but he'll never get in. Like all the rest, he's always hanging around the post office the first day of the month, waiting for Boyle to bring out that month's lodge applications. And there's always a long line, never enough applications to go around, and even if you do get an application, chances are you're right out of luck. Fewer called to the order and even less accepted. And Potsdam, well, they've turned him down so many times, unless he does something radical, he'll never get in. Crime-wise, nothing much has happened in Harvest since the newspaper fire. Oh, sure, every week or so we get the odd transient dropping dead, but other than that, it gets pretty slow around here. Sure, you remember. The Sentinel building burned down about 6 months ago.
That's what I'm telling you, Sheriff. I don't remember anything. Why won't you believe I have amnesia?
Well, you've always been a kidder, Steve. Anyway, the fireman said the fire was caused by arson. I never caught the perp, though.
But we found the gas can that was used. Yes, sirree, Bob. It's in the evidence room.
Loomis, that's classified. Darn it.
How many times you gonna have to tell me to keep my mouth shut, I wonder? Sorry, boss.
You've got the gas can in the evidence room? Did you dust it for prints?
You've been watching too much TV, Steve. Heck, who can make out all those curvy lines anyhow? No, it's sitting in there gathering dust, clean as the day we found it, just in case I ever need a spare gas can. That case is closed, Steve. Now, that's a place you don't want to wind up, boy. We've got a 3 strikes and you're out rule here in Harvest. You get arrested the 3rd time, you never get out of jail alive. So don't go committing any crimes, boy. Amnesia or no, I'll lock you up pronto. Loomis here is my deputy. Without him, I'd have a hard time keeping the peace, or at least taking a lunch break. Mainly Loomis answers the phone and babysits the office while I'm out, though sometimes he likes to go in the back and stain the jail mattress. Isn't that right, Loomis?
Oh, now, Sheriff, what you gotta go and say that for?
Loomis has more than his share of problems. I wouldn't invite him to the wedding. Or if you do, make sure he doesn't catch the garter. That could be embarrassing.
Oh, I wouldn't do nothing, Dwayne. But I sure would like a little garter that's been around Stephanie's thigh. Oh, well, that'd be right special.
Stop on by any time, Steve. That's the evidence room, where we store items lifted from crime scenes. It's kept locked at all times. There's things in there that could make people jump through hoops, if I wanted.
Let's go to the fire station. Pink fire truck.
Please excuse the mess. They've done wonders with the upstairs bedroom, but this garage defies color coordination.
don't bother me, I'm sketching. Oh, look what you made me do!
I don't converse on the job, Steve.
Hello, Steve. Welcome to the House of Flame, as we like to call it. Oh, cut it out, Spots, honestly. Once he gets barking, a good piece of meat is the only way to shut him up. There you go, Spot. So, Steve, bet you don't remember me. Heard about that short in the old wiring. I'm Fire Marshal Sparky, head of your fire department. Don't be silly. Everyone thinks that amnesia kick is a scream. Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Besides, it's my job to keep abreast of developments in the community, to better serve you, the public. I'm sure you'll be thrilled when you learn of the many civic improvements we have planned for your fire department.
Such as?
Well, don't tell any of the others, but I've secured a bolt of the most divine mauve material. I've hidden it because, well, if any of these Marys got a hold of it, it'd be gone in a jiffy. So I'd rather keep it hush-hush. I'm going to make new drapes for the firehouse, and if I have any left, cross your fingers, I'm going to make everyone matching mauve pillow cozies.
Those are civic improvements.
Don't be such a party pooper, Steve. We're talking about our future. Besides, we haven't had a fire in Harvest since the newspaper building burned down. Though I'll admit that the Wasp Woman's place is one big accident waiting to happen. Isn't that right, Spots? Some people think all we do is sit around, sketching fetching examples of manhood for our own amusement. Nothing could be further from the truth. Why, just the other day we cited Tetsuo Crumb for fire code violations. All the dried-out paper wasp nests clustered around our wooden house, why, it's a chemlog just waiting for the right faggot. Believe me, none of us wants to see another fiasco like the Sentinel fire. A dreadful affair. You wouldn't think that a brick and steel building with a sprinkler system could go up that quickly. Oh, please. Dwayne was glad enough to see the thing go up, and so was McKnight. If you could get into that safe in his wall... Forget it. Look, Steve, as far as I know, the fire was an accident. Let's just leave it at that. Now don't you go moving. Bye-bye.
What's left in the newspaper building after an extreme fire? 3 fire hydrants in the building still burned down? At least the plumbing held up. A shovel sticking out in the building ashes. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the first weapon you get. There actually is a code you can put in to get all the weapons in the game. Which I just put in. And now I have them all. Shovel, pitchfork, wrench, axe, gun, and baseball bat. Pitchfork. Wrench. New reference, I guess. Fire axe. And of course the baseball bat. Alright. go to the TV station. I used to think you could find some way to come up on the roof here, but you can't. A fairly primitive form of mind control.
Stay tuned, buckaroos. There's more to come on Range Riders Cowboy Roundup. So don't go away. And what's your name, hombre?
Steve.
Steve's a swell name. My dog's name is Steve. Would you like my autograph, Steve? Here you go, then. Violence? What about it?
Children Hunter Show. Don't you think this is bad for them?
Violence is as American as apple pie and low SAT scores. Where would we be right now if the cowboys hadn't gone out west and butchered innocent people to steal their land? Answer me that, Mr. Know-It-All.
But what about studies that have shown that children become more violent when watching violence?
Buckaroo, I rip the guts out of godless heathen Injuns. Most kids don't see godless heathen Injuns on a regular basis, and if they do, they better either get their eyes checked or do like old Range Rider and shoot the bejesus out of them, lest they want to go untreated for psychotic hallucinations, or wind up with their scalps hanging from a buckskin belt. Oh, shit! Ow! Shit on a stickeroo! The parents that are griping about violence on TV are the same parents that go outside in the morning to fetch their papers, secure in the knowledge that they won't get an arrow through the noodle because the violence they hate so much done cleared the Injuns out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, civilization has benefited from violence. But should violence be treated as entertainment?
Check my rating, son. Violence is entertainment. I just put it on the air. If some kid watches, that says something about the kid, not me. Now, excuse me, we're going back on the air.
And if the game is idle for a while, or if you leave the controls and don't do anything, this is what Steve does. Either the show isn't compelling or no one wanted to be taken out by friend fire. And here's the producer of the game.
Hey, Sport. This is a private office.
Yeah, I know, Mr.
McKnight.
No, seriously, that's
I
the
own and
producer
operate
of this game.
station. Have you brought me some news for tonight's broadcast, or...
I've lost my memory. That's news.
The hell it is! You always were a kidder, Steve. Any real news to tell me?
Actually, I was just wanting to know more about the TV station.
Hey, WHAR is the only television station in Harvest. Since the old Sentinel went under, what with the newspaper building burning down and all, we're golden. Nobody competes with us, Sport. Partners. I run the whole show solo, pal.
And nobody saw that. Dwayne partly is the TV station. I guess now he's the phone line now. Let's go to the school.
Steve, good of you to drop by, big guy.
Haven't seen you since graduation. A lot of changes, I hear.
You could say that.
Good, good. That's a nice part of my job. Turning fine young men and women out into the world, and then watching them prosper. Of course, I was able to reach more people at the old Sentinel, God bless her. But then again, I never got to see the results of my work up close before.
Who are you?
You know very well I'm Mr. Harold, the principal of Gain Memorial. Steve, I've heard about this amnesia nonsense. I had hoped you'd be in the lodge by now, fine young fellow like yourself. But now, I think maybe you need a little more quality time. You turned out pretty good, except for that amnesia nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Maybe you need a little straightening out. Oh, the things I could do to you. You'd be a much finer young man with just a little quality time.
What do you mean, quality time?
Some, like Miss Whaley, favor stern discipline, corporal punishment, as a means of socialization. Myself, I temper discipline with love. Quality time can be such a warm, sharing experience. After just a few sessions, you'd stop this amnesia nonsense and become a productive member of society and a fit candidate for the lodge. Big guy, borrowing some quality time, the greatest gift I can bestow upon you as your former principal is a word of advice. Join the Order of the Harvest Moon at any cost. Within the lodge lies your future, and without, dust.
Why do you keep calling me big guy?
A sign of respect, lad. As principal, my station is higher than yours now, but you never know what the future holds, so you should always hedge your bets and pay tribute to your inferiors. You never know who will come to power, or who, even now, wields it behind the scenes. For all I know, you might already be a member of the Order, with access to the lodge. If that were the case, you'd be my superior, and I'd be all that much better off having shown you respect and spent some quality time with you. Drop in again soon. Adult education is a wonderful thing, as is adult quality time.
That sounds suspicious.
My goodness, class, this is Stephen. He used to be a student here at Gein Memorial. Say hello, class. They're reticent. The educator's gravest problem today is the apathy of the students.
What's wrong with their heads?
I can tell you in one word, Stephen. Discipline. Thank goodness you weren't a sulky bear. You were always a smiley bear.
Then you remember me?
Not as such. So many pupils, Stephen. They come and they go. But I can always spot those who were nice boys. You can tell from the forehead. The lobes. Right, class? I'm glad you stopped by, Stephen. Would you care to say a few words to the class about civic responsibility?
Not really. I was just passing through.
Oh, but you must, Stephen. A positive role model might be just the thing to inspire these little monsters. Stephen, have you any questions for me? Or shall I continue with class? Ask away, then. We don't practice corporal punishment here. I've never believed in that old adage, spare the rod and spoil the child. A rod is too thin, but a baseball bat... That bridges the generation gap quite nicely. Oh dear, Colonel Monroe is conducting another air raid drill. Everyone into the hallway, quick!
If an A-bomb hits, what good is it gonna do to duck and cover?
My stars, that was exciting. Stop by any time, Stephen.
Let's check and see if the sheriff's in here.
Hello there, Steve. Here for lunch?
No, just here looking around, though I'm not entirely sure where here is.
Oh, I forgot. You're playing your little amnesia prank. Well, boy, this is DNA's Diner. Isn't that right, Edna?
Don't listen to Sheriff Dwayne. This is Edna's Diner. But ever since the E burned out on the sign, they've been giving me a hard time.
Now, don't be like that, Edna. It's a great place to eat, which is good, since it's the only place to eat in Harvest. I understand you witnessed Miss Whaley's dispensing a little discipline at the school, and she thinks you may be feeling a mite bent about it. That's always the wisest course, boy. Sticking your nose where it doesn't belong can get you in a world of trouble, especially if you're a gynecologist. Heck, there isn't a psychiatrist around who'd disagree about what a calming influence a dent in the head can be. You can't argue with science, Steve. It's bigger than all of us. Stop on by any time, Steve.
Alright. Now we're here. Let's give Loomis the magazine.
Oh. Oh. By George. Oh, by Jiminy. Oh, this here's the real thing. Oh. Can I have it? Oh. Oh, thank you, Steve. Excuse me, kiddo. I gotta go check the jail for clean towels.
Right. Search the desk. Key to the evidence room. Barely legible note. And Sheriff Dwayne's checkbook. Deposits from oil. Big deposit from WHIR. And the note says, Sheriff, if you think you're gonna, if you think we're going to keep paying this forever, you are crazy. There are limits. This prop helps the sheriff meet his parking tickets quota. The most improbable of all murder weapons, toast. He did not like green eggs and ham, so they killed him. A camera. Sneakers. Bathroom kids machines razor. And the gas can.
Hello, Steve. Where's Loomis?
He'll be coming around the mountain if he comes. Oh,
Oh, that's it.
Loomis, damn you!
Wait, no, 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 no! No!
Lighting up the mattress again! Folding up the towels! Charming snake!
One thing I forgot to do is dig into a pile of ashes. Big Sarah flour, wire. Look at this broken window at the barber shop. Looks like Mr. Preston really forgot to put on the paper for Jimmy.
My button. Why, I lost that months ago. Where did you find it?
Funny thing, that. I found it in the ashes. At the newspaper building.
What are you implying? That I had something to do with setting the fire? Preposterous. Why, 100 people must have visited that site since the fire. And what if I did? I guess I'd be pretty grateful to anyone who could help get me off the hook.
How?
You seem like a capable lad. Hypothetically, let's say there was a gas can sitting in the evidence room at the sheriff's office. A gas can which might have some incriminating prints on it. Someone might be very grateful for the return of that gas can. Say, grateful enough to provide whoever returned it with a lodge application. Oh, and Steve, you'll keep this to yourself. If you're smart. Oh my God, I can't believe it. After all this time.
Where's my application, Boyle?
Here, take it. With my thanks. You know, this morning as I was making my rounds, I noticed an awful lot of television aerials on the roofs. Seems like more and more each day. You got me this can just in time, youngster. I may have need of it again.
What do you mean?
There's another reason why Sheriff Dwayne didn't investigate the Sentinel fire. If you'd like to get something else on the blackmailing bastard, check around the television station. While you still can.
And this is before you fill it out. Whoops.
That's a ticket.
And this is after you fill it out.
I see you've managed to acquire an application. That demonstrates resourcefulness, a desirable trait for prospective members. You need a rest. Report back here for your next assignment.
What do you want, Steve? I hear him at night, thrashing and moaning. I crawl out my window and see Mom's shadow on the shade, pot holders on her hands, reaching for him. How can she do the stitches on him wearing those? Wouldn't she slip?
Don't be silly. She wouldn't do that. Of course she'd slip.
Maybe that's why he's not getting better. Good. Finally.
And he's still expecting papers in the morning. Well, here's a way to fix that. Now you never have to worry about giving him the paper in the morning.
Steve, I'm so glad you came back. What have you been doing?
I visited the lodge. Talked to the sergeant-at-arms there. He knows that there's something out of whack here. He told me if I wanted to find out what it is, I should join the lodge. I've decided to join the lodge, Stephanie. I think the answer to all our questions is inside.
That place. It's so sinister. You may be playing right into their hands. Did you think of that? Doesn't it seem like you're being herded toward the lodge?
That's one of the things I hope to find out.
I hope finding out doesn't get you killed. Come back and visit me soon, okay?
I take it you wish to be initiated into the mysteries of the Order of the Harvest Moon. Very well. Know then that securing the application was but the first step on your road to enlightenment. Now you must complete a series of tasks to prove your worthiness as an initiate.
What kind of tasks?
Minor pranks, really. Nothing overly difficult. More tests of wit than prowess. But to complete them you must, if you wish to enter these walls.
Minor prank, eh? I'll bet. What have you got in mind?
There is in Harvest a man named Mr. Johnson. He owns a tucker. It is his pride and joy. I should like you to put a scratch in it.
A scratch? That's all?
As I said, a minor prank. Mind you, you are not to damage the vehicle. Merely put a single scratch in it. Once you have done so, return here, and I shall give you your next task.
expected to be some kind of enemy placed here, but apparently not.
Did it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need that. Cemetery at nighttime. Creepy. Matches.
What are you doing here at this hour, Mr. Potsdam?
I'm burying our cat. She passed away and I'm burying her. Go away and mind your own business.
Then, where's the cat?
I left her at home. Now leave me alone!
Since when do hotels close down at night? That's where the matches came from. Is the police station closed up? Yep.
So, you have completed your first task. Now that you've scratched the tucker, you may proceed to your second task. You will steal a bolt of fabric from the fireman and bring it to me. Very well then. Use whatever means necessary, but bring the cloth to me here, and I shall give you your third task.
I forgot to mention Mr. Johnson's garage is where you find the pitchfork.
What do you people want from me?
Welcome to our order.
The hand that grips my fist. Stephanie.
Hello, dear. How are you today? By the way, I spoke with Mr. Johnson, and he's livid. Seems someone scratched up his priceless Tucker. If he finds out who, there'll be heck to pay. Edna's daughter, Karen, has disappeared. Karen was playing outside as Edna closed the diner, and that's the last anyone saw of her. I haven't the foggiest idea. All I know is she went missing last night. But Steve, this isn't something you want to be concerned with. Trust me. You should be concentrating on joining the lodge, not some missing girl.
Isn't a lost child everyone's concern?
Then let everyone worry about it. This is nothing but a waste of time for you. If you spend your time in Harvest looking for Karen, you'll regret it.
My time in Harvest? You talk like I'm a visitor, Mom.
Don't be silly, dear. Did you hear? Someone exterminated the wasp woman. Exterminated. Got it? Oh my, I used to be such a card. Everyone in the Glee Club thought so. Oh, I haven't lost it, have I? Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy. You know how he gets.
Jeez.
Steve, is that you? Come to see your poor old dad?
Are you my father? Really? I don't remember you.
Please. I'm not in the mood for jokes.
I'm serious. Why won't anyone believe me?
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Just don't make me laugh now. Remember the stitches.
My God. What has she done to you?
She doesn't know you're here, does she? Does she?
No, I had to break in. What the hell is going on in here?
I know it's a mystery to you. The sacred things that husbands and wives do behind closed doors. Maybe we should have that special father-son talk. Especially now that you're getting married. Then listen. I can't talk very loud. It's the tracheotomy. When a man and a woman love each other very much, they go into a room alone and shut the door and bolt it with at least 3 locks and prop a chair under the doorknob so no one can get in or out. Then they take off their clothes and get out a wide variety of scalpels. Some curved, some short, all of them sharp. And then the man climbs on the woman. And then they... with the barbed wire, they...
That's all right. Don't get worked up. You need your rest.
Yes, rest. But why did you come? You must have had a reason for risking it.
I need some meat, and Pat won't give me any without your signed permission.
Good old dependable Pat. Here, son. Here's my signature. Take it to him, and you won't have any problem. Now go, son. Go quickly, before she comes back. No! Leave that there! If any of it turns up missing.
Marv, what's going on in there?
Go! Go!
Some rotten son bitch scratched my car. My Tucker, my baby, my poor darling, my sweet cheeks. If I find out who did it, I'll kill him. Just kill him dead. I told that fool sheriff to beef up the patrols, but what does he care? Nobody cares about a limp dick fat boy. Well, I'll make them care. I'll make them care. Did you hear that Karen disappeared? Just goes to show you what can happen without a man's stewardship in the house. It takes both a man and a woman to raise a child properly. It says so in the Bible. But try to convince Edna of that? Oh no. And now she's lost everything. This might be a good time to drop in. While she's feeling vulnerable. Bye now.
Let's drop by here.
Young man, we really have nothing to say to each other. I have the feeling your image shall soon adorn my slab, and I'd rather not know the face of the meat I'm slicing. I hope you haven't come to tell me about that little girl's disappearance. I find such town gossip so dreary. No doubt you find me cold that I do not involve myself with townspeople whom I shall one day eviscerate.
Do you know anything about Karen's disappearance?
She vanished Tuesday night. I remember that night Mr. Potsdam harassed me with banal conversation till the wee small hours of the morning.
Potsdam? What was he doing out so late?
Boring me with idle talk, as I told you. He came in around 11. We were discussing the lights in the cemetery. Potsdam had seen them as I had and investigated them. According to him, a young couple were being intimate out there. Love and death, young man. The two universal forces. The cemetery is quite an aphrodisiac, and such activity is not without precedent.
Then you saw these kids yourself?
No, I saw the light but didn't investigate. Later on, Potsdam told me what he saw in exquisitely boring detail.
But why would kids who were screwing use a light?
Perhaps they weren't raised properly, and don't know it's impolite not to turn out the lights while engaging in coitus. Who can say? I'd say it's been a pleasure, but I find the company of the living so wearisome.
God, I found you. Are you all right, Karen?
I want to go home. Could you take me to my mommy's store? Or to the policeman?
Can you tell me who did this to you?
Mr. Potsdam told me he'd hurt my mommy if I told.
He won't do anything, I promise. Tell me what happened.
He made me play house. Then he dug a hole. Please, I just want to go home now. Please.
Can you tell me your address, honey?
I don't know. Just take me to the store or the policeman. Please. Mommy said to go to the policeman if I got lost. And I'm lost. Bye-bye.
Oh my God. Karen! Thank God. What happened?
Found her in the graveyard. She was buried alive. And she claims Mr. Potsdam was responsible.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you from both of us. Here's the reward money. Take it and go. I need to be alone with my baby right now.
There's that bench. Which I already have. Let's go see Stephanie.
Steve, it's so good to see you again. I get so lonely in here.
I'm sorry. Want to hear what's happening out in the real world?
No. I'd rather forget about Harvest for a while. Come here.
Stephanie?
I feel so close to you, Steve. Like we're the only two people in Harvest. The only two real people. Do you know what I mean? I need to feel something again. This sense I have that I've known you. It's my only link to my past.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different than memory. Maybe we don't remember each other so much as we recall the feelings deep inside. Strong feelings.
Maybe the body has its own memory.
Let's find out. I want you. Make love to me. Then take me. Now.
Let's carry on. Usually find the axe, the ladder.
Well, that didn't work.
So, your father okayed the meet, huh? How's he doing? Good, glad to hear it.
Here's your meat, son. You run along now. A new shipment of animals has come in, and it's time to start cutting.
Jeez, what are you doing here?
Just standing here, waiting to be drawn.
You just hang out here? All the time?
I'm not a person, Steve. I'm an object. You'd do well to remember that. A person is his job. Someday you'll understand that. And if you don't, it won't matter, because you'll be dead.
Dead?
Have you gotten your lodge application in yet? Good. You may survive yet. I guess you're here to steal the bolt. Not at all. That's not my job. However, since I am an object d'art, and since art should be interpreted, I'll give you a clue as to where the bolt is located. Darkness gives as darkness gets, but light invoked is light shed.
All right.
Leave me alone, will ya? This is the good part. Hey, it's too bad they don't give scout badges for digging up buried kids. I like to see what that badge would look like. I went over to ask her what it was like, being buried alive and all. But she just stared at me, and twitched, and drew up. Guess I got my answer. Huh. Good. Finally.
After certain events you carry out through the game, people around the town.
Hello, dear. How are you today? You know those firemen? The funny ones with the color sense? Looks like they misplaced a bolt of expensive fabric. Of course, each one of them suspects the other. Looks like a catfight is brewing. Congratulations, hero. You found Karen after all.
You don't seem proud, Mother. I wonder why.
I warned you not to waste time looking for her.
Am I running out of time?
The blood drive is coming soon.
What does that have to do with anything?
If you haven't joined the lodge by then, you'll find out. Still, I'm glad you found the poor baby. She says Mr. Potsdam was responsible for what happened to her. What a silly little girl. Shame on you. Imagine accusing your future father-in-law of a thing like that. Is that how a range rider would behave? I don't think so.
Why would she lie?
Okay, Weisenheimer. Even if he is a child molester, a kidnapper, and an attempted murderer, that's no reflection on what kind of father-in-law he'll be. I just can't wait for the wedding. Can you? Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy. You know how he gets.
Exquisite cloth. Its loss should trigger quite a bit of dissension amongst our gallant firefighters. Still, that is not your concern. Your next assignment is to break into the tonsorial establishment of Mr. Pastorelli and abscond with his prized barber's pole. Lack of respect for authority. A fine trait for a member of the Order. Yes, I approve, Stephen. I hope you succeed in your task. Break into the shop, steal the barber's pole, and bring it back to me. At that point, I shall give you your final task.
Alright, use the tape. Use any kind of weapon to break open the window. Turn that off. Use this screwdriver.
Yeah.
Take the pole. And leave.
Welcome to our order.
The hand that grips the life of Stephanie.
This is where you usually change CDs, but this is the GOG.com version, so we'll push.
Hello, dear. How are you today? Did you hear what happened at the barber shop? Someone broke into Pastorelli's salon and took his antique barber's pole. The next morning, Pastorelli touched some live wires that the thief left lying around and was electrocuted. Well, that darn foreigner got what he deserved, if you ask me, coming into a nice little town like Harvest and stealing business. Heavens, if a bowl and scissors were good enough for your father, I don't see why decent working folk need a fancy wop styling their hair. That's how it goes. First you get a sissy trim, then bang, you're a communist. Isn't it exciting, Steve? 5 days and 1,200 cookies later, the bake sale is already here. Where does the time fly?
Those 1,200 cookies. How many are you taking to the sale?
Oh, about 20. The rest were stale. But the effort wasn't wasted. It's for a good cause. Will you be at the school tonight? That's nice, dear. It's good to be open to new experiences.
Don't you think it's odd, having a bake sale to pay for burying out-of-towners?
Gosh, hooties, what should we do? Leave them in the streets?
Of course we should bury them. But why do so many out-of-towners drop dead in Harvest?
I have wondered about that, and I think it has something to do with the air.
But there's nothing wrong with the air, it's perfectly clean.
That's what I mean. Big city folk, they get so used to smog that clean air is a shock to their systems. Gets them every time.
Watch what happens when you say this.
What a thing to say to your mother. Was that an invitation now that your father is out of action? Maybe later, dear. Right now I have housework to do. Though you can watch if you want. Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy. You know how he gets.
All right. And that's what happens if you do something illegal.
Boy, in Harvest you can't just go around killing little children in public. You're under arrest for murder in the first degree. Come with me. This is your first arrest, Steve. You just remember, we've got a 3 strikes, you're out rule here in Harvest. But you keep your nose clean. You hear?
They just figured out that I killed Jimmy. And the first time you get arrested, you get tucked into bed. Which is odd, if you ask me. Poster open up.
Leave me alone, will ya? This is the good part. You're in trouble. How's it feel to be a jailbird?
Not bad, actually.
Yeah, that's what you think. Now.
What are you yammering about?
You better not get caught again, Steve. You played your get-out-of-jail-free card. Next time, you'll be in big trouble. Good. Finally.
And here it is, the object dog, imported Venetian glass and Italian dreams. You have done well. An unfortunate side effect that Pastorelli was electrocuted because you left live wires in a puddle on the floor. But as those with affectations of worldliness say, c'est la vie. Pastorelli's own incompetence caused his unfortunate accident. What does it matter that you left live electrical wires hanging in the water on the floor? If he hadn't cross-wired the alarm system to the sprinklers, he'd be alive today. Of course, you only wanted the bowl, but that hardly matters now. Your final assignment is to set a fire in DNA's diner and let the French fry where they may. Yes, I suggest you succeed. Beyond that, you must find your own answers. must be resourceful and cunning. So must you be to become one with them. Tonight, the bake sale commences. Soon, the annual harvest blood drive will be at hand, when sacrifice will be the order of the day. Your time in harvest grows short.
Think about taking some of that siding off my hands, son. I'll cut you a nice price on it. I was the one what found Pastorelli this morning, after he stepped in the water with the live wires hanging out. His body was so burnt his arms and legs was blackened, fused together, and the sheep was well done too. Problem is, both was burnt so bad, and the flesh all crisp and distorted, limbs melded. You couldn't tell 'em apart. And well, I didn't want to take a chance on eating Italian. No, sir, I didn't. I tell you, the only thing worse than a fire station full of sissies is a fire station full of pig sissies. They're all accusing each other of stealing some silk underwear or something. Boy, whoever said fighting fire with fire'd be happy in harvest. 'Cause we got a fire station full of flamers. Nice to see you again, Steve.
I'm glad to see you. I feel so alone, cooped up in here. I understand that bake sale is today.
Yeah, you'd think it was the second coming the way everyone is acting around here.
It's insane. The maniacal attention paid to this bake sale, like all the women in Harvest came from the same cookie cutter. It's unnatural, unhealthy, almost a parody of how things should be. And through my window at night, I see my mother throwing out whole batches of cookies, like an automaton getting rid of its surplus product.
My so-called mother has been baking cookies all week, and then throwing them out. Better that than getting rid of us.
Wait around long enough. I have a feeling they'll get to it. My faux mother keeps me up on the latest gossip. Not like she really wants to talk to me. More like she's feeding me information. For instance, she told me that Mr. Johnson's Tucker was vandalized. That's another weird thing. Every car I've seen drive by is a Tucker. There were only 31 produced. What are the odds of that?
I've always wanted a Tucker. Funny that Harvest would be full of them.
Any idea who scratched the car? Why would you do something like that?
It's part of the Lodge initiation.
I see.
Look, I don't know what's going on here, but getting into the Lodge is the best way to find out.
By committing vandalism? It was a crime, Steve.
Don't be so melodramatic about it. I've heard of worse fraternity initiations.
Sorry. When you put it that way, I guess I was overreacting. You know the firemen? Someone stole some fabric from them, and they're up in arms about it. Another harmless prank? And how many more harmless pranks will you be pulling?
However many it takes to get in, Stephanie. If I have to use them to escape, then I will.
Are you using them? Or are they using you?
It was just a bolt of cloth.
You turned the firemen against each other. They think one of their own stole it.
Would you rather stay here? I've heard that harvest is lovely in the fall when the leaves turn orange and gold, and the annual blood drive paints the town red.
All right. You have a point. I don't know if you heard or not, but Mr. Pastorelli, the barber, He's dead. Looks like somebody stole a barber's pole from him, then left the exposed electrical wires and some water on the floor. Pastorelli walked in, flipped on the lights, and... Know anything about that? Oh my God! Steve, that was no little prank! A man died!
It was an accident. Forgot about the live wires in the water.
That doesn't change the fact that you killed him. This initiation killed him.
It was just an accident.
An accident which wouldn't have happened if not for the Lodge. Don't you see? I'm beginning to think that the Lodge poisons everything it touches. Harvest, even you.
I didn't create this situation.
Are you sure?
No. But however it started, I'm gonna see it through to the end.
Vandalism, theft, manslaughter? What's next, Steve? Murder? Look, I know in the beginning I suggested you might check out the Lodge. I was more worried about getting out of here than anything else. But now that I know you, I'm worried about you too.
I'm fine.
A man is dead because of you. How can you be fine? You've got to stop this. Tell me, is anything positive going to come out of this Lodge initiation crap?
Yeah, or escape, hopefully.
It just seems to me that this order of yours is getting you in deeper and deeper trouble.
They can't make me do anything I don't want to do.
No, but maybe when it's all said and done, you'll want to do anything.
You've got to trust me.
Is it true? You found Karen?
Yeah, just in time, too. He'd molested her and buried her alive. He couldn't bring himself to kill her outright, so he just decided to stick her in the ground and let fate take its course.
Who? Who would do that to a helpless child?
She says it was Mr. Potsdam, and I believe her.
Oh, Christ. And all this time I've been under the same roof with that thing watching me.
Take it easy, okay?
So, at least they'll be coming to take him away, won't they? Come back and visit me soon, okay?
There's a dead body in here. Wearing the same clothes as Steve.
Ah, you've taken up photography, I see. Now why on earth would you choose such a grotesque subject?
That John Doe you got boxed up in the chapel? He didn't just drop dead. Someone helped him take the plunge.
You may be right. I'm a mortician, not a medical examiner.
You don't have to be to know that being ripped to shreds can be detrimental to your health.
This is not something you want to be looking into, young man. That's what we all want.
What game are you people playing?
A game we win or lose together.
Look, are you gonna tell me what I want to know, or do I go to the sheriff with these pictures?
That would be a grave mistake, I assure you. I've told you all I can. My losses have been substantial of late, so I can't offer you money. The only thing I can give you in exchange for the photographs is my tube of astro glue. I do suggest you take it, for it's all you'll get from me. A wise decision. When a wasp's nest is stirred up, it is seldom the wasps who grieve later.
sale.
What a good boy you are. Have a cookie. Derelicts and bums who wander into town who don't have enough money for a decent burial.
They deserve to be buried. It's the Christian thing to do.
That's awful nice of you. But why do so many derelicts and bums die in Harvest?
Don't be such a wise apple, Steve.
Jeez, it's like Stepford Wives.
Ladies, someone has just burned down the TV station.
On the night of our bake sale?
Damn it!
Welcome to our order.
The hand that grips the life is Stephanie.
What is it now?
Hank,
What?
why are you sitting in front of that blank TV?
Someone burnt down the TV channel. There's nothing on. Nothing on.
Honestly, Hank, you're acting like an alcoholic. I told you all that TV would hurt you.
Watching TV don't hurt me, Mom. But not watching TV hurts bad. If I find out who burnt down the TV station, I'll make him wish he was one of those damn Indians. Good. Finally.
Hello, dear. How are you today? The nerve of some people burning down the TV station to detract from our bake sale.
I doubt the perpetrator did it just to annoy the Harvest PTA.
Coincidence? I don't think so. Just 6 months ago, the newspaper building went up in smoke. Obviously, there's a firebug on the loose. Either that or a communist. Steve, I'm so scared. Now that the bake sale's over, I just don't know how I'll fill my time. Oh, I feel so useless. My goodness. What's wrong with her? My goodness. Oh, it's not as bad as it looks. You just pop them back in. See? As good as new. That tarantula she ate must have had wasp eggs in it.
Don't you think we should get her to a doctor?
What for? She's got her mother. How silly I was, feeling useless just because there are no more cookies to bake. I can still rear my brood. This is a sign, Steve. I have a purpose again.
Glad to see you're feeling better.
Mind, that fire still burns my britches. First the newspaper building, then DNA's diner, then WHAR. I sense a pattern. And any pattern I can't make a dress out of is no darn good. I suppose you heard about DNA's diner burning down? Sheriff Dwayne thinks it was a grease fire. We took a black eye on the bake sale, but I'm sure the Harvest PTA annual blood drive will be more successful. Overall, we made about $200, hardly enough to bury a dead horse, and definitely not enough to cover the annual blood drive. Don't forget to put the papers out for Jimmy. You know how he gets.
I'm glad to see you. I feel so alone, cooped up in here. I saw the TV station go up from my window. It lighted up the whole town. It looked like hell. I wished it would consume the whole damn place. And me with it.
Don't talk like that.
I'm sorry. I just can't stand it anymore.
I wish there was something I could do.
There he is. Make love to me. Do it to me. Now.
DNA's diner is no more, as is Edna herself. She hung herself as soon as she realized what had happened to her beloved establishment. A true entrepreneur and a credit to her nation. Come now, anyone who spoke with her for 5 minutes would have known what a tragedy the destruction of her diner would be. Still, you sought to torch her diner, and torched it is. You have proven yourself a worthy candidate for initiation. This was only a trial to determine your worthiness for testing. Your initiation into the mysteries of the harvest will soon begin. In the meantime, be patient. Protocols must be observed before initiation may commence.
How I recognize the sign?
You will know when you receive the invitation. Bring it here, and your initiation shall begin.
Say, Can you spare a dime for a buckaroo who's down on his luck? The whole shebang just went up in flames, and I'm looking to mosey on to greener pastures, where the sunset's always golden, and there's always another savage to kill.
That's what happens. Kill.
I've tried so hard to find an excuse to keep on fighting, but Karen and I can't go out alone any longer. This diner he left us was all we had. It was always a struggle to keep it running in such a small town. And now we've lost it. I know that I can't afford to support us now. There's only one way out. I'm sure you won't be able to understand the depth of despair that would enable a mother to put a rope around her baby's neck and push her into the air and jump after her. I wonder if I'll hear her next now. If she kicks around and takes a long time to strangle, I'll scream, but I won't cut her down. I've got to be stronger than I ever was before. But I hope she doesn't get it. God help us and forgive us, Edna Fitzpatrick.
Guess I can forget about the meat, huh?
What do you mean?
Your dad must have pulled some strings. Be sure and check Stephanie's pillow, you lucky bum.
What the hell are you talking about?
You'll see once the sheriff gets here. Stephanie. Things'll never be the same now. Guess I'll be watching TV nights.
Okay, you can come in now, son.
My God. Is that what I think it is?
Yep, it's a spinal cord.
Is it Stephanie?
I can see a resemblance, but I can't be sure.
More pie, Sheriff?
Pie? Don't you realize what's happened?
Oh, indeed I do. I can just hear the tongues wagging at the PTA. Was it suicide?
Never heard of anyone pulling their own spinal cord out before. Off the record, I'd have to say no. No, all in all, I'd say this was death by natural causes.
Natural causes?
You can't live without a spinal cord, son. Nothing unnatural about that. Think I will have some more pie.
Right away.
I can't believe this. This is horrible.
Believe me, you get to the point to where this is routine. Now, the only clue we got is that card on our pillow. Take a look at it.
This is practically a confession.
Confession to what, son?
Murder. Isn't that what you're here to investigate?
Son, you don't investigate natural deaths. No point.
Then I'll get to the bottom of this myself.
Yeah. I'm sure you will.
More pie, Sheriff?
Don't mind if I do. I don't suppose it'd hurt for you to take the card, seeing as it was addressed to you. Shucks, I'm sorry I had to read it in the first place, but that's my job. Say, I wonder if there's more pie. Can't allow you to take a remain.
Hello, Steve. Have some pie? No, Steve. We're going to put her in the crypt. Keeping bodies in the house is just not sanitary.
You received the invitation, but you have not brought it.
I don't understand.
The invitation was not the card, but the spinal cord. It must be presented to me ere I allow you to enter. I expect nothing. What must unfold will. You were provided an invitation. Bring me the skull and spinal cord if you would pass to the world beyond.
Alright. Let's go back to the lodge. Present our invitation.
You have done well. Now let the initiation commence. As your mystagogue, it is requested and required that I turn over this sacred dagger to you to aid you in your quest.
What is this?
You must now enter the lodge. Initiates find it a hostile place.
Are you supposed to help me or get me killed?
I'm starting you on the path of initiation to a very special, very exclusive brotherhood. I am merely the administrator of a test. Whether you view me as an enemy or a friend depends on how well you're prepared to pass.
This thing? You haven't said what it is.
It is a special weapon. Using it will be part of the initiation. You always have a choice, Initiate. Which choices you make matter only to you. Whatever occurs in here is relevant to the great question which you cannot help but answer. What is at issue is whether in answering the question you will find the answers you seek. You will encounter those intent on preventing or prompting your answer, depending on how you look at it. While the assumption is you want to live, dying is easy and provides its own answer, but not for you.
Just tell me, is Stephanie dead or being held within?
The membership director on the second level keeps track of such things.
Oh, great. Then you are against me.
I am the Sergeant at Arms. I am here to ensure that the protocols are observed. Deviation from a protocol shall result in punishment. Remember what I have told you. Now, let the initiation begin.
All right. Busts of presidents.
Ah, you're here. Excellent. You'll find them through that door.
Excuse me?
You are the exterminator, are you not?
No.
In that case, I'm afraid you'll have a hard time of it, sir. Recently, the lodge has become infested by pests. They need exterminating, or, to be blunt, sir, they need killing. And plenty. We're not speaking of cockroaches. A bewildering variety of deadly beasts lie beyond, and just before the annual board meeting. Dreadful. I wish you good luck, sir. I only hope you can stomach what's ahead.
Alright. Let's equip the weapon. And I inputted a cheat code that gives me invulnerability, so I can get through this game and show you what's, in it. We'll go through here.
This is a cloakroom, sir. By definition, not a fitting place to seek answers. However, it's plain that the acid from your ordeal is eating away at your clothing and skin. I can clean your clothes for a minor consideration of $5.
Was it disagrees? Here's and you're supposed to drink this one. And your reflection appears.
All right.
Keys on the register. Take the money. Take the $5. Cloakroom cleans the acid off here. Okay. Now I've got that taken care of. Let's walk around a bit. Huh, this painting almost looks familiar. The mountings which barred your escape from harvest are visible through the thick glass.
Well, I hope you're proud of yourself, killing my clientele. Ever since the monsters invaded this level, the members have taken to dining with the Grand Poobah upstairs. Actually, I have to admit my last few meals haven't been up to snuff. The problem is the freshness of the corpses, or lack thereof. See, the supply has dried up. The Sergeant-at-Arms always used to insist that bodies killed in the lodge be disposed of without trace, and so the members would bring me their business for preparation and dissemination. Sorry. You'd need to talk to the membership director up on 2.
Can you tell me anything that might help me?
Not really.
Still twitching hand. And that's something that helps replenish your health. Actually do need to kill him to get a shotgun.
Well, that didn't work. Okay. Well, that didn't work.
Wrong way. Aha. Shotgun shells. A sigh. Considering the game's called Harvester, it seems appropriate. There's a gumball machine to help increase your health. Take a baseball bat. Pool stick. Also to use as weapons. Stained glass.
Entertainment. I just put it on the air. If some kid watches, that said something about the kid, not me.
Now, you definitely need to toss some meat in here, otherwise you'll get eaten. Let's get this. Go back. Throw the other meat in there. Quickly. Okay.
Stay tuned, buckaroos. There's more to come on Range Riders Cowboy Rap.
Drinking beers doesn't link to your health. There's a speed killer on this point. Usually I go back and eat the rest of the gumballs to regain my health, but I've entered a cheat code for invulnerability, so I don't need to do that.
Welcome to the Harvest Moon Art Gallery, sir. I'm the curator of this place. So delighted you could come. That it will, I'm afraid. Art often forces engagement, doesn't it? Lovely works, pastoral scenes, noble sculptures. These are easy on the eye and mind. But when confronted with a work of hideous form, you're forced to deal with it, even if only to dismiss it as trash. Sadly, the most extreme works are the hardest to dismiss. Grotesqueries amid works of beauty are necessary. That should be taken for granted. Nevertheless, it's important that each individual determine his own sense of aesthetics. For that reason, I give you permission to obliterate that which forces you to linger too long in the gallery.
I'm just passing through.
If only it were that simple.
All right.
Strange group of guys. Door's locked, but I have a key.
Can I help you?
I'm looking for a girl.
This is a library, not a brothel.
You don't understand. I have reason. Hope to believe that she was brought here. Do you know anything about that?
I'm afraid not. I tend to stay out of lodge affairs. I'm only in charge of the library, my good fellow. Well, if she is here, she's not been invited as a member. There are no female members of the order. To be sure, one or two have qualified throughout our history, but they're generally not of our caliber. I doubt there are any females in this building, at least none that are extant. Oh, I see. You're the new initiate. If she is here, you'll find her on the 3rd floor, which you'll have difficulty finding without my help.
And you want something in return.
I'll give you a clue as to how to get to the 3rd floor, but only if you'll retrieve an overdue book from one of our charter members, a Mr. Kane. Since he is so highly regarded among the order, I'm loath to approach him on such an embarrassing matter. Therefore, bring me the book and I'll help you.
How will I know which book?
Oh, you'll know it. He's not an avid reader.
Excuse me, you can't come in right now. I just mopped the floor. You think just because I'm a janitor I got no pride? That's all I got to do all day is clean up after you rich bastards? Take a hike before you get hurt.
All right.
Let me see. Oh yes, the new initiate. I'm the Lodge Membership Director. What can I do for you? The Lodge is a traditional place, young man, and by tradition, when a young man is courting a young woman, he wins for her a Cupid doll at the fair. There is no fair within the Lodge. However, I have seen a thing which resembles a Cupid somewhere on this floor. Seek it out, slay it, and return here with a prize if you would seek your lady.
Vaguely familiar strangers. There we go.
Ah, you've returned the book, I see. Thank you, young man. Feel free to look around the library for anything that interests you.
You told me you'd help me get to the 3rd floor.
Ah, yes. You'll need a special key, which is in the keeping of our resident chess master. Here is your clue. Along with the positions of his pieces, the chess master holds the key to the 3rd level, always in his thoughts.
That's the clue?
The best that I can give you. I'll write it down for you so that you won't forget. If you don't find this key, I'm afraid you'll never make it any further. Good luck.
I am the chess master. Any initiate who wishes to pass this way must do so over my dead body. Being a civilized man, I offer my opponents a choice. Solve my problem or fight me to the death. Do you know how to play chess? In that case, mate me and you may pass.
Alright. See if I remember how to do this. Ugh. Good thing I already ate dinner. And there's the
Right. All right.
Must have been one hell of a birthday party. Perhaps a clue as to why this birthday wasn't very happy. It says, "Happy birthday, asshole." The picture is so you're under Scrooge. The light showed at home with this classic Monkey Boy goes apeshit with a chainsaw. Oh man, I love that movie. The plot dumb. For some reason I still get an urge to use the health items even though I have, you know, used a cheat code for invincibility.
Fine work. You're obviously an earnest young man. You're in luck. A quick check of my records indicates that indeed a woman was brought into the lodge, although I neglected to get her name, since females are generally not considered for initiation. The young lady is currently being detained on the 3rd floor, in the Chapel of Love. Seek her there. Seek her there. And don't forget to bring her her prize. Little things mean so much.
Well, that didn't work. Well, that didn't work. Damn it!
Well, that didn't work.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Flagpoles come in handy here. For the nail gun.
This is the Temple of the Mystery of Abstinence. Do not eat of the food or you will be punished. All within are hereby bound to a vow of abstinence. The central mystery is thus. Those who advocate abstinence are those who possess the most. It is to their advantage that you obey, not to yours. The meek shall inherit the earth when the strong are finished with it. Advance, initiate, and remember what you have learned.
Quick, get the shot.
And some mothers complain that their children don't come to see them.
Mommy, you're so good. You're so good.
Shocked? This is the mystery of motherly love. Everyone says motherhood is fulfilling, when in reality, it's draining. You don't know the half of it. From the start, children are parasites. That's what you've got to understand. Sucking the life out of you. Your very life's blood pumping from your belly through obscene pink tubes into their thieving hearts. And even after birth, they keep leeching the life from you.
Mommy, you're so good. You're so good.
Of course, My children were better at it than most. Is that the bliss of motherhood? That's the mystery. Just what the world needs. More greedy little mouths to feed. Children suck the life out of society. They have to be protected, nurtured. Everything has to be childproof and rendered childish. Sadly, they'll suck the life out of you too. You too.
I don't think so. I need a better weapon.
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Religion. The mystery is thus. Those who preach love and mercy in God's name are often those who call for the death of heathens. Do you believe in God, my son? Heretic! You have not seen the light, my son. But we shall open your eyes, even if we must shut them first.
What do you want here?
I'm just passing through.
You think it's that simple, huh? Just passing through? Well, my family was just sitting around. And look where it got them. The Temple of the Mystery of Morality. My country paid me to kill. And then when I came home, I was out of a job. They expected me to stop? Cold turkey? Is that what they wanted? A paycheck today, jail cell tomorrow? Am I a criminal or an entrepreneur? Hey, let's find out.
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Flesh, Steve. Have a bite?
Mr. Potsdam?
The mystery is this. Sometimes you have to lose some meat to get some meat. They wouldn't let me in until I demonstrated my worthiness. My invitation came after I buried Karen alive. That showed initiative.
And her spinal cord was your ticket in, right?
Yes, but to be initiated into the mysteries of the harvest, I had to do one last thing. I let them into the house and into Stephanie's bedroom. Sometimes you have to sacrifice meat to gain meat. The Order taught me that. Now I'm a butcher. You should have gotten your dad to hire me on. That way, you could have been the boss, instead of the prime cut.
Hello, handsome. Looking for a good time at a reasonable price? Scorn mixed with desire, that's our lot. Such is the mystery of lust. So often the instruments of lust, as all instruments of higher pleasure, are condemned as frequently as they are sought after. I'd go on about the hypocrisy of a hedophobic society, but I think I'd rather just kill me a man.
Okay.
Welcome to the Temple of Beauty. And am I not beautiful, oh man? Look at my hair, black as a moonless night. Look into my eyes, deep pools of desire. Look at my complexion, pale white and glistening. And what else? And what else? And what else? Oh no, look at me. Do you see that? I'm fat, fat, fat!
Only happens when you have a beard. Six.
There. Am I not beautiful? Look at my complexion, pale white and gleaming.
Welcome, Initiate, to the Temple of the Mystery of Pain. The mystery is thus. The simple manipulation of nerves may break one man, and yet leave another unmoved. The physiology is the same. All nerves sing alike, yet the results differ. The question can only be answered by paradox. Although the body functions according to the tenets of science, the invocation of pain is an art. My implements are simple things, like a painter's brushes, from which beautiful complexities spring, different stories brought forth from different canvases, with the different application of a stroke. I invite you now to torture this man on the table, to explore this blessed mystery himself. Otherwise, I'll have to teach you the lesson myself.
Welcome to the Temple of the Mystery of Charity.
What mystery is there in charity, for God's sake?
The mystery is thus. Any act of charity is an act of selfishness. For in any charitable exchange, one must take from another, and one is always left the poorer. A feeling. Discouraging answer, Initiate. You see, though I am needy, I do not consider myself a beggar so much as a taker. I require charity, Initiate. Give me something. Charity is a loathsome lie. The only gift that keeps on giving is death.
This is the Temple of the Mystery of Mercy. You're just in time for our little retirement ceremony. As part of your initiation, you'll be required to execute everyone. That's how old people are disposed of in the lodge. And each member is expected to do his share. They're weak, but by retiring death you advance yourself. Old, they're begging you for mercy. Do you grant it? Then finish them, initiate. Thus is the mystery of mercy.
Life is a competition, and mercy a perversion of the natural order. When you extend mercy to a competitor, you give him a second chance to beat you.
Welcome to the inner sanctum, big guy.
Principal Harold?
Within the inner sanctum, you will address me as Vice Muck Harold, second in command to the Grand Muckety Muck. Here of the Fez and Buffalo Ham, the secret handshake, the funny passwords. Only fitting, given that my role has always been that of an educator, and Harvest is one big classroom.
What do you mean?
You'll have to kill me to find out what he means, big guy.
There we go.
This is always a great moment when the initiate passes over the threshold and becomes a brother.
Stephanie?
I believe you have something for her. Ring the bell and win a prize for the lovely lady. Or is it win the lovely lady as your prize?
Enough games.
Agreed. Each time you climbed the rope, you caused her pain, but you always hurt the ones you love. Is that all you require?
I want an explanation.
Of course you do. There are no such things as monsters. And yet, you've killed monsters. Everything in Harvest is just slightly askew. This is because, as advanced as our technology is, we cannot make the sim any better than this. The subject's subconscious always warps it in unpredictable ways.
Sam?
This is nothing more than a virtual reality designed by the Harvesters to test potential members. Having successfully completed the program, you have earned the right to become a Harvester.
That's the title of the game.
What the hell is a harvester?
The hand that grips the knife that stabs. The ones who move amid the crop and harvest the fruit.
You're talking about people. Killing people.
Again and again and again, I believe the technical term is serial killer. The harvesters seek to perpetuate terror and discord for our own purposes. We do this through the random utility of murder, and we persevere through our recruitment of initiates like yourself.
You want me to become a serial killer?
This entire reality has been engineered to break down your resistance, to desensitize you to violence. Now you may become a harvester and re-enter the real world, or stay in peace with young Stephanie and spend the rest of your life in the construct known as Harvest.
What is the real world at this point?
Right now, you are suspended in a sensory deprivation tank, wired to a VR tech. If you don't join us, we will terminate your life support, and you will be dead within minutes. Those last minutes, however, will seem like a lifetime lived in Harvest. You will marry Stephanie and die peacefully of old age.
You're presuming a lot.
Aside from you, she is the only real person in Harvest, suspended in a tank, jacked in just as you are. I assume you'll want to spend time together.
If I stay.
Of course, having completed your ordeal, you may leave with her as you intended and enjoy your victory. If, on the other hand, you wish to join us, the cost of exiting the lodge is the same as the cost of entering the lodge. A skull and spinal cord. Hers.
No. You couldn't kill me. These harvesters, they put people through this torture to give them a taste for killing. The way to beat them is to deny them. To live out your life here. With me. You're thinking about killing me, aren't you? Didn't you hear what he said? I do exist. If you kill me here, I'll die for real. And I'll feel all the pain, all the terror, because I'm real.
Well, after all, what's a murder without pain and terror? We will feed the pain impulses directly into her brain and then pull the plug. You will be a murderer, this time for real. So what will it be? Life in Harvest, or life as a harvester? Choose now.
Alright, 2 different endings I can choose from. Personally, I prefer this one.
You disappoint me. You had possibilities.
I'd rather die than become as twisted as you.
You've made your choice and succeeded in your quest. Enjoy the life you've chosen, such as it is.
waste. This kid could have been something. Never looked back. We got 2 more to plug in. There's gotta be a better way to develop these serial killers. This is scientific. You want we should go back to the old way? What old way? Good breeding.
That's it. The game is over. Game over. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.